What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So President Donald Trump makes some major announcements here that is going to affect, well, the entire United States and millions of Americans. And I'll let you hear it directly from him, and you guys can let me know your thoughts here in this video. This comes here as the stock market drops again today on his announcements and what this could mean going forward for the United States. I'm going to give you all the details here, and we'll jump in and we'll go over it here in this video. I am live with you guys right here now on the It's Jimmy Show on YouTube. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I will keep you up to date here with everything happening here around the globe that you need to know about. So we have some major occurrences here over the last several days as Trump has announced tariffs for every country here in the world almost, except for Russia, North Korea, and Belarus, as far as I know, which is kind of strange that you guys can let me know your thoughts here and why he didn't announce it for those countries. This buddy Putin, I don't know why, but you guys can let me know your thoughts here. He didn't announce additional tariffs for Canada and Mexico, but of course they have already had tariffs announced by President Trump. So you guys can let me know your thoughts. Here is what Trump had to say here today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Take a listen here.
And would you be open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals. And in certain cases, they're going to be paying substantial tariffs. They'll be fair deals. As you know, I spoke this morning with the Prime Minister of Japan, and we had a very good conversation. They're coming. And I said, one thing, you're going to have to open up your country, because we sold no cars, like 0 cars in Japan, and they sold millions of cars into our country. They don't really take our agriculture, a little bit of it just to keep us slightly happy, but they don't take what they're supposed to be taking. So we have a great relationship with Japan. We're going to keep it that way, but they're coming in to meet, and other countries are coming in. With China, as you know, against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on. So they've gone for years. They've become a rich country because of people, again, that were in the White House that allowed this to happen. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year they'd make on us on trade, and it shouldn't be that way. And I have a great relationship with President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do this, what I'm doing. And I'll tell you what, it's an honor to do it, because we have been just destroyed, what they've done to our system. You know, we have $36 trillion of debt for a reason. And the reason is that people allowed it to get that way. So we'll be talking to China. We'll be talking to a lot of different countries. And I think, you know, if we can make a really fair deal and a good deal for the United States, not a good deal for others. This is America first. It's now America first. And we didn't put America first. We put America last. The people that were in the Oval Office put America last, and we're not going to stand for it. Yeah.
Represent the U.S. in the talks with Iran.
2 questions. Do you expect any of these deals to be made before April 9th? And secondly, there have been some mixed messages from your administration. You're talking about negotiations, and yet others in your administration are saying that these tariffs are actually permanent. What is the action?
Well, it can both be true. There can be permanent tariffs, and there could also be negotiations, because there are things that we need beyond tariffs. We need open borders. You know, we almost had a deal with China where we're going to open up China. It was almost done. Some of you remember it during my first term, and it was very disappointing. We ended up making a great deal. $50 billion worth of product was sold. $50 billion. You'd like that in Israel. And I made that deal, but it wasn't the deal that I wanted. It was the deal that I wanted was that, plus they're going to open up China so that our companies could go into China and compete with other countries and China for the, for a large number of people. And at the very end, that deal was terminated, and we went to a piece of the deal. And there are a lot of things outside of tariffs, but tariffs are very important. But there are a lot of things like opening up countries that were totally closed. China is essentially a closed country. In fact, it is a closed country. And what they do is they charge tariffs so that if you sell cars or if you sell anything, nobody's going to buy it because the price is out of control. But that's true with a lot of other countries also. So we're going to get fair deals and good deals with every country, and if we don't, we're going to have nothing to do with them. They're not going to be allowed to participate in the United States.
Mr. President,
many of time. This gentleman is all day long.
Mr. President, thank you for the chance. Many of Palestinian Americans who voted for you and not for Biden because you promised them to end the war in Gaza.
Very honored by that vote, too.
The war is still going on and there's no hostage deal. Do you have any update on that?
Well, I'd like to see the war stop, and I think the war will stop at some point that won't be in the too distant future. Right now we have a problem with hostages. We're trying to get the hostages out. We got quite a few of them out, but it's a long process. It shouldn't be that long. We have a big problem that we've done. I think I'll ask Pete to maybe talk about it for a second, because a lot of people are asking. The Houthis, we've been very tough and very successful militarily. We've really damaged them badly. These were people shooting down ships and other things, by the way, flying objects like airplanes. And we've put a major hurt on the Houthis, which nobody's been able to do. We've really hit them hard, and they know it, and they don't know what to do. And it's every night, night after night, and we've gotten many of their leaders and their experts. They're experts on missiles. I mean, they actually make missiles. Nobody thought that, but they make missiles. They're highly sophisticated, and they're very tough, but they've been very badly damaged. Nobody else was able to do that but us.
I'm not going to cover that here in this video, but with the war situation. But, Trump said that, the Russia-Ukraine war would be ended by day one. He would have that negotiated. Of course, that's still going on. He said the hostages would be back, but I think he's realizing, I said this all along, those situations are way more complex. And I just didn't think that they would be negotiated and be done by day one. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that. But as we're going forward here, also our average viewer saves about $1,100 by switching their Medicare provider over to Chapter Medicare. Our partner Chapter Medicare can actually scan through all the Medicare providers, Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part D, and actually scan through all the Medicare providers and find you the best plan. And on average, they can save you up to $1,100 per year. So I've had so many viewers thank me for hooking them up with Chapter. They can give you free one-on-one advice and find you potentially much better plans than you have and save you up to $1,100. So I'll put a phone number here on the screen and a pinned comment link down below. Click that link or call that phone number and see if they can save you a bunch of money or get you much better benefits than you have now. Couple of things to say here. Number one, Trump's advisors say that more than 50 countries have reached out for tariff talks with the White House to negotiate them. Okay, so this is good news. Good news for America. Number one, they're going to negotiate on potentially lowering tariffs that they have in the United States so that companies can sell their goods to the countries overseas which would lower tariffs for actually people buying them overseas, which would actually make the goods lower for the people buying them overseas, okay? So countries can sell them overseas, and the people that buy them will be able to buy American goods lower. Because remember, tariffs tax the people that are buying them, okay? Remember, when Trump tariffs other countries, it raises the prices for Americans, okay? Remember that. The other thing is that Trump now wants to inflict, by tomorrow, 50% more tariffs on China. Trump's threatened tariff on China could paralyze large portions of the U.S. economy. Imagine that. This would bring over 100% tariffs on Chinese goods, effectively doubling the prices on any product coming from China, which is millions of products. Yeah, as you can see here, Trump threatens an additional 50% tariffs on China. President Donald Trump today threatened to impose an additional 50% tariff on China, escalating a tit-for-tat retaliation with Beijing that followed the White House sweeping import tax rollout. If China does not withdraw its new 30% increase above the already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, April 8th, 2025, the U.S. will impose additional tariffs on China of 50%, effective April 9th, Trump said in a Truth Social post. This would bring the total to 104% tariffs on China, meaning that American consumers will pay 104% more on any goods coming from China than they would have paid if Trump did not impose any tariffs at all. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. Because there's probably millions of products or hundreds of thousands of products that come from China on shelves, clothing, shoes, all sorts of things, right? You can't even name them all, that would now be effectively double the price. Let me know your thoughts on this. Another thing to mention here, Trump says tariffs are reciprocal based on their way they're calculating this, and a lot of people think that they are, but they actually aren't reciprocal. They're actually based off trade deficit. Take a listen here.
They're sparking some fears and questions about a global recession also. The White House said the new tariffs are pegged to amounts that other countries impose on the U.S. According to their formula, it's the size of a country's goods trade imbalance with the U.S. divided by how much we import from that nation. There's some of the math, the calculus. Is that calculus? No. CNBC's Steve Leisman is here with us to break it all down. Also with us, Erica York, Vice President of Federal Tax Policy at the Tax Foundation. It's great to have you both here. So let's just back up, Steve, for a second. The formula, as mentioned, this is laser focused on goods. It doesn't matter if we want to service a surplus with the other country. This is about the trade deficit in goods, and whatever happened earlier this week is not a barometer, it seems, for this announcement.
Yeah, I don't want to start off in a caustic way, but you asked, is that calculus? To a lot of trade experts, Kelly, it's gibberish. That's really the problem. When this thing came out, my initial reaction was to, be a reporter. And I called up these trade experts, including one we're going to talk to in a second, and I said, have you ever heard of this? And they said, no. Do you know anybody who's ever used this formula to determine the trade burden or onus or whatever? And everybody said no. What's interesting is, here's the White House comment. I don't know if you guys have it. No, not the formula. Here's the comment where if you look at what they say, I don't know if I have it in front of me, but it says that we used something that's been used in a lot of other times and places. But they just made it up, Kelly. Nobody's ever heard of it. There it is. I want to emphasize, said a White House official, that these tariffs are customized to each country, and the numbers have been calculated by the Council of Economic Advisors using very, very well-established methodologies from the National Trade Economic Literature, but nobody's ever heard of it, Kelly. So I think they made up that statement and they made up that formula.
Yeah, so you guys know this, this one here where he's putting tariffs on every country, they actually calculated this. They say it's tariffs charged to the U.S., but it's actually based on the trade deficit to each country. So you guys can let me know your thoughts, because a lot of people are actually misinformed. They think it's, you take South Africa, for example, it says 60%. A lot of people think, South Africa is charging the United States a 60% tariff, so the United States is going to only charge them a 30% tariff. Well, that's not actually the case. It's just that that's the trade deficit. And, well, I think that if you really think about it, the reason is because the United States is just a massive consumer economy. We're one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world. We're consuming. We consume a lot. So we're just buying. And that's just how our country is. We're a consumer economy. So, of course, we just consume a lot. So other countries are selling us stuff, and that's just kind of the way it is. We have trade deficits with almost every country because we consume a lot. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. So it's been kind of painted this picture that we have all these other countries tariffing us, which is actually not the case. Now, it actually kind of is good that we are going to be able to negotiate either some tariffs down or maybe some trade deficits down, and maybe actually get to sell some goods to some other countries, whatever they may be, if that's what Trump's goal is, to negotiate some stuff down. If his goal is to actually get more tariff money, that, in almost everybody's opinion that is seeing this stuff, is not going to be good, because that will just make Americans pay more. So let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here with all this stuff going on here on a daily basis. So make sure to share this video with somebody that needs to see this information. Don't forget to subscribe down below and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening on a daily basis, and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. Click here to see the major bill that Republicans passed here yesterday. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.